Hey guys, tonight we're gonna be watching angry Lexus Gia's owner police chase on a high speed. Okay, hey guys, tonight we're gonna be watching angry Lexus Gia's owner outruns police on a high speed chase involving Houston and Bel Air police and on involving Houston and Bel Air police. So let's get into it now. Bam, bam. Let's watch it now. Bam. Let's watch it now. Okay, you're following a police presence. We're gonna be able to write that later. So I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write angry Lexus Gia's owner. What do you think? No. The thing. Oh my God. He's wearing.
Jumps around the speed, so just keep in mind that we're buffeting winds here, and we're at about 1,000 feet or so above this chase. So
wow.
We have some other factors involved in the speedometer, but I wanted to put it up there to give you an idea exactly close to how fast we're going.
No, we love that, man. Thanks for putting that up there. But I wonder. He's now and then he picks up some pretty good speed. I'm just wondering if there's something under that hood other than a Nissan engine, because. If there's, I don't know what kind of sedan it is, but I initially thought it was a BMW, but perhaps it's not. I might be wrong. Yeah, perhaps.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. We thought at first it was a Lexus. It looks to me it could be a Lexus or a Nissan. It definitely is an import, but there you can see it.
Look, right now, he's
close behind.
Yeah. Close behind, you see him slowing down every now and then. He'll go at the speeds of traffic, which is probably 65, right around that area. But then all of a sudden he'll pick up and he'll move to 80 or 90 miles an hour real quick. Okay, we understand.
We have confirmed that it is a Lexus.
Okay, terrific. All right, good to know. All right, well, with a Lexus engine, you're going to have a little more power and speed with that. They're known to be pretty sporty sedans, so. He's moving along real fast. We don't know. I don't have any idea.
Ship channel right now.
Okay, now we're going over to the ship channel bridge. We are not sure as to why police were on top of this to begin with, why they tried to stop him, and why he began to run. But we're trying to vet that information at this point. All right, so he remains southbound on the 610. Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, as I mentioned earlier, that we find it kind of unusual that DPS is up here with us as opposed to HPD. HPD is the ground chase units. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw DPS show up when this finally comes to an end. I don't know whether they were trying to put out spike strips, but we just passed 3 actual police cars that were down there off to the side. So not exactly sure what that was about. They were back there just as we exited the freeway.
Yeah. On these freeways like this gives them opportunity when they know exactly where he's headed, at least knowing that he's going south in the loop. They can station out those spike strips, a couple of miles in advance and move traffic to one direction or the other so that they can kind of funnel that vehicle into an area that would allow him to run over those spike strips. But it's not always that easily done. I mean, this is especially at this speed. So here he moves along, still on the 610 East Loop. He is remaining on the freeway, on the loop. There it's down to 2 lanes, so we're right around the 225 exit. Is that right?
I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, that is the 610 South Loop now. We've just passed over I-45, the Gulf Freeway, passing the Gulf Gate area, headed back toward the Astrodome, which is where we picked them up over here off of Yellowstone and 288. So they've made a great, big, huge circle.
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, he's sort of traversed his way around the south and the northeast area, or south area, east area, and then come back down to the same place he was originally. Yeah, he's just on the opposite side of the freeway. So then now he's on the south loop, still moving along pretty good. He's going to be coming up on the NRG Center and the NRG Park.
Many times when we see these, Art, we always think about the fact that, many times they tend to travel in an area that they're familiar with. So we'll assume, at this point anyway, that this person is, if they don't live in this part of town, at least they're familiar with this part of town, the freeway system and the side streets.
Yeah. You know?
Usually they will exit the freeway into a neighborhood that they're more familiar with, and that's generally speaking when these chases come to an end.
Right.
We could be doing laps like the Indy 500 here for the rest of the afternoon the way this is going.
Right, and it's generally pretty easy for HPD to stay right on top of someone who's on the freeway like this, no matter how fast they're going, because these police vehicles, they can travel at practically any speed that some of these other vehicles can travel at. And you have behind him at least 4 or 5 HPD. HPD, by the way, is not in the air. We know that DPS is in the air, but you're still on the ground. You have HPD. Those are HPD there vehicles. But he just seems to be moving along, and not all that fast right now. Maybe at 80 miles an hour or so. I don't know. But you wonder what he's going to do here if he's really trying to get away, and we certainly don't want him to try and do that because they really start doing some stupid things. Although this is on the level of, some pretty crazy stuff anyway, just even trying to run from police. But we've seen this all the time, Don.
In just a little bit here, we're going to be coming up back onto 288 and see what's going on over here. That seems to be another accident going the opposite direction down here on the South Loop. But we will be coming up on 288 here. And if you're familiar with it, they've got a lot of construction going on in that area. And these lanes that he is traveling on going westbound here on the South Loop will pinch down to a couple of lanes once you get down to 288. There you just pass the sign that gives the drivers heads up as to 288 is just ahead. So now he's signaling to change lanes. That's odd.
That is odd. I just have this frame of mind where he's trying to get away from police. He's speeding. He's already broken dozens of laws, and yet he signals to go. You can see his signal there, Don. He's, trying to move over to the right-hand side.
I have to say this, and that is the fact that this may or may not be a him. It could be a her.
Oh, you're absolutely
I know
right.
that when we went on a chase not that long ago, ended up on the 610 West Loop in a Jeep, and as it turned out, it was a female that was leading the chase.
Well, and we have learned that that is happening more and more often. I mean, we've seen it again and again. Oh, there he goes, trying to sneak off the freeway, and he did it. And the police are right behind him still. Now let's see what happens.
This is Scott Street.
Okay,
now,
this is
Scott
Street.
Street. Now we're stuck in traffic. Let's see. Yep.
This is where it gets always interesting here. When you start getting off into the...
This is where accidents happen.
Yeah, exactly right. This is how where accidents happen, where people begin... Let's see, is he going to go back on the loop? If he gets back on the South Loop to go eastbound...
Yeah, I'm going to go eastbound now.
Okay. This may be the only part of town that this guy is used to. So, he's familiar with, because now we're going back in the same direction that he originally started with long ago. You know what?
As a matter of fact, I was just reminded, Art, that there is an accident up ahead. If you remember correctly, we pointed that out as we passed it.
So he's going to run into
that. On the freeway, they're going to come to a dead stop up ahead.
Well, that wasn't the very smart move then. Not very strategic on his point to be getting back on the South Loop and now headed westbound, going very fast. You can see him picking up speed, but you're right, Don. We saw that accident not too much further ahead of him, and they have that accident was bringing traffic to a crawl. And you can bet that now HPD is on the radio with those other folks over there at that accident, probably telling them to shut that thing down entirely, all lanes, to see what happens. It will be interesting once they approach that.
Well, there they go.
Oh, there he goes. Okay. Well, that was his strategy.
Off the freeway onto the feeder. Yeah.
He just got off the freeway. Yep, right onto the feeder. Well, those wheels are going to be pretty damaged as a result of that. You can just climb on and off the freeway without up and down on those curves. But here we are off the freeway. Wait, is this back to Scott? No, this is Martin Luther King, isn't it?
Yes. This is Martin Luther King, and we're headed northbound now.
Okay.
Going through these intersections.
Ooh, yeah, that's where it's so dangerous. You go racing through those intersections, and when you're traveling at that speed, it's just too difficult to see anyone else to see that vehicle before someone just pulls out in front. Okay, there's Perry Street.
This is a street called Perry. This is a street called Perry over here.
Ooh, in the residential area, going that fast. That's not good.
In a residential area, and they've sped up considerably.
See, he might, and what usually happens.
You can see
Yeah.
you can see the street names on our sky map technology there.
Love those street names just popping up right there. He was on Perry Street. Now he's on those things with that Beachman Street. You know, this is what usually happens in these neighborhoods sometimes as well. They just find some place to bail and run. But he wouldn't go into a neighborhood like this unless he was absolutely familiar with it. He's on Keystone Street now. He's kind of circled around, really moving fast. They're back to Martin Luther now. Let's see if he goes left or right. There he is, now going southbound. He's back headed south, right, on Martin Luther?
To be honest with you, Art, I've lost direction. I know that we're having a hard time maneuvering up here. We've got other helicopters up here with us, and so we've got to pay attention to that. And
Sure.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
You know what?
Looks as though we're heading.
Yeah.
We're heading south. We're heading toward the south
that's
loop
what
again.
I thought. Yeah, toward the south loop again.
I have to glance over to my compass over here to look myself.
You know, Don just does just a Herculean job to the audience out there. Think of guiding this camera, which is on that helicopter, as well as maneuvering the helicopter. I know, you know, there's a pilot there that does that, but still, it's just awesome job you're taking care of here, Don, and bringing us some extraordinary
Kevin Yip is our pilot this afternoon, and he's doing a bang-up job. I'll tell you, it's because we're also in restricted airspace. This is over here in Hobby Airport space, so he's having to deal with them and the other helicopter traffic. Well, I'm talking to you and trying to keep up with the chase with the camera.
So other helicopter traffic and everything else that goes on, along with restricted airspace because of Hobby. But yet we get it to you first. We get it on the air, and well, he at least stopped there. But let's see what happens now. Okay, Colin Boulevard. Oh, they guessed where he was going to go. Now trying to block him in, but he's going over the median, right around the police officer.
Sure need to set him up for a pit maneuver here,
Right.
Art.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it, because somebody's going to get really seriously injured if they don't stick the neck out and do that here quickly.
You're right. You're right. And that's when they know it's getting really, really dangerous, and he's in a populated area, and if they have some clarity and some space to be able to do it, you look how he's pulling up to the side, Don. He's getting up, perhaps trying to get over to the side to possibly work on doing a pit maneuver.
Yeah, there's just a little bit too much traffic on this main boulevard here.
Right.
Okay, we're just crossed over Holmes Road.
Oh, a lot of traffic. Let's see what he does here. Well, he's
We're going to go
for the field.
off-roading here. This is over at the 610 loop.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go off-roading. He's done that, I think, at least 3 or 4 times now.
So we're getting back on the loop.
Okay. We're back on the South Loop, but is he before or after the accident? He might run into the same accident, right?
Well, I think that he's headed over toward, let me see, it looks like he's headed over toward Reliance Stadium, Astrodome area.
Okay, so he's
back
headed
over to 288.
Yeah, back over to 288. He's headed eastbound now on the South Loop.
Yep.
He's been doing this for a good 45 minutes now. No indication of slowing
There's the
down,
construction
stopping.
area. Yeah. We're coming up on 288 here shortly.
Okay, so he's gone left. Yeah, that's a mess to get through there. A lot of construction. Well, police right behind him. Look at him. You see how police are trying to get to one side of him. Sometimes they will attempt to do that, and then that's when they work the pit maneuver. But at this point, if there's too much traffic and they're going way too fast, they're going to probably have to wait until they get off into a residential area.
Okay, that's 288, so we're now approaching the Astrodome Reliance Center area.
Okay.
This is all the construction that I was telling you, lanes narrowed down to a couple lanes there.
Right.
For the through traffic headed over toward the West Loop and Astrodome area.
Well, because of this pandemic, I think that clearly the freeways are just not as congested as they used to be. We still have a lot of people staying home. And no doubt a lot are watching this high-speed chase, waiting for it to come to an end and wondering how it's going to end. And that's always the frightening thing about it, is that we always wonder, you know, and you always have some degree of trepidation that this thing is going to end with some major accident. That's what we do not want it to end. We do not want it to end that way. Well, we hit one of those cones, and so did the officer.
Yep.
Oh,
now
he's
going to go back up. They're doing it. The person's doing everything they can to lose police, but that's not going to happen.
No, you know what? Because if he loses even that guy right behind him, there are a dozen others, you know, still behind that officer. So.
And not to mention that, but we're also up here.
Right.
Let's see if something happens
Let's
here.
see. You see how he gets on the side of him like that?
Yep. Yeah, the chase car actually clipped one of those construction barrels and took the right side mirror off of it. We saw it go flying along with the barrel.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that barrel. The one who's running from police, he clipped it as well, and then you're right, the officer just slammed into the rest of it.
Now they're going at such a high rate of speed, I don't know as if a pit maneuver would be the best thing to do here.
Yeah, there's so many people on the freeway as well. I mean, not super congested, but when you try a pit maneuver at that speed, and you might be crashing into other vehicles. So we'll see what happens here as he continues to race through the south part of town, 610 South Loop. He is headed eastbound still. And at some point,
this is westbound, Art, and they're coming up over here in the Meyerland area. Yeah, and this is the Braeswood exit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is
hoping that they'll take off and get on a surface street over here where they can get this guy stopped.
Yeah, I think that they're probably receiving some direction to, you know what, let's try and end this thing as quickly as possible because he's really causing some danger here on the road. All right, so if they're headed westbound, then they're going to be headed north now on...
Yeah, let me give you a wider view. There's Braes Bayou coming up on Meyerland. We're headed northbound back up toward Bel Air, which is, I think, where all of this started in the Bel Air area in southwest Houston.
Yeah, it all started sort of the southwest part of town, Bel Air area, over there on the West Loop. And then he went southbound, then South Loop for a time, all the way over to the Ship Channel Bridge. And then now he's already swung all the way back around, traversed his way through some residential streets, then on the South Loop again, headed westbound, and now he's headed northbound on the 610. He's going to be headed getting up to the Bel Air area. You can see the cross streets there as we approach them with this awesome technology, making a quick exit there, trying to get away from police. This is Bel Air exit. Okay, this is only blocks from the station here, just down the street, a couple of miles. So let's see what happens here because, he's going to turn around. Let's see if he heads back south. He's making the U-turn there. Now he's going to head really southbound on the West Loop.
Yep. Yeah, that was the Bel Air intersection there. So now we're heading
looks like he's getting back on the freeway. I think this is the only area he knows. I think we know which area he hangs out. You know, sort of southwest, south part of town. Now he has to be thinking. You would think. You know, the naturally, you know, level-headed person would be thinking, okay, I'm not able to lose these officers, you know, clearly because nothing he has done has been able to create that. At this point, he's got to be thinking, all right, maybe I just pull over, but. Sometimes when the adrenaline is there and it just keeps you moving, you move off that instead of reason-mindedness, you know?
And you know, Art, the other thing, and I'm sure that you've thought of this, and I know that our viewers have too, is that imagine you're minding your own business, you're coming back from the grocery store, out for an errand at lunchtime, whatever the case may be, and you run across a chase, and it's hopefully not you that's involved in the accident that this person creates.
Right.
I mean, it's frightening if you stop and think about it.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so here we are this is the 4th time we have been on the South Loop. Isn't that right? Because now he was headed south on the West Loop. Now he's headed east on the South Loop. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Headed back toward the Astrodome. And I use the Astrodome as a marker because all of us long-timers here in Houston use the Astrodome as a marker. And, of course, we're talking about Reliance Stadium, Reliance Center. But
Right.
I think everybody gets the picture.
Everyone does, yeah. Because that's been such an iconic, building over the past many, many decades. Some call it the 8th wonder. But here we go again. We're going to drive by, I don't know. This guy enjoys doing some sightseeing on the south side because he's done plenty of it. This is at least our 4th or 5th time that we've driven this road, or at least the South Loop in some fashion, east or westbound.
That police car gets so close to the back bumper, and if it were me, I would just want it to ease into the gas and do that Dale Earnhardt pit maneuver on him.
Right. Let's see if it works. They're awfully, you have to have some degree of fear in doing it on this freeway because you know what's going to happen. It's going to be spinning out of control, slamming into the median, perhaps hitting other vehicles along the way. That's the DPS. That's not HPD now.
That's a DPS.
Right.
Now on the tail, who's taking the lead on this.
He's taking the lead on this, and that's interesting.
I think that they have different rules when it comes to the pit maneuver, and that may be what they've done here is to set this up. So as soon as that officer sees an opportunity, he'll pull the pit maneuver on him.
Right.
I think that it's different for Houston. I may be mistaken, but that's what it kind of leads me to believe.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Don, because, once you pulled up closer, I thought, wait a minute, that is no longer HPD. HPD was taking the lead on this. DPS is now taking the lead, and I suppose they're not going to mess around, and so they're going to likely see what they can do here. But DPS is not in the air. No, DPS is in the air, and DPS now is taking the lead on the ground as well.
That's correct, because it was HPD for the longest time.
Right.
I don't know where the swap happened, but it's clear that this is definitely DPS. That's why I zoomed in on that, because I thought, is that DPS? Yes, I confirmed that it was.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell by the emblem
Approaching
on the
288 again there,
side
Art.
of the vehicle. Okay, here we go, approaching that again. We're going to be approaching some construction here as well, right? At some point. Let's see what he does here. There's 288. He's going to get off on the 288 again. Okay, he's exited on 288, it looks like. Let's see if he goes north or south on 288. Looks like he's going to...
288 south.
He's headed south on 288. All right, so once he passes the construction in this area, he could be fairly open, but 288 is only a couple of lanes. You don't have 4 and 5 lanes like you do the loop.
Yeah, this is a huge construction zone all the way down to Pearland.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Traffic continues to slow here.
I noticed on you look at the officers following him. The first and the second officer.
Approaching Reed Road.
Yeah, the first and the second are DPS. The third now, the HPD was taking the lead. Now they've dropped into the third, I believe, spot there, behind the DPS. So let's see what happens.
Art.
Yeah. Okay.
And you notice the HPD officer has given the DPS officer plenty of room between them.
You're right.
Where DPS is right on the chase suspect's tail. Now they're exiting. This is Reed Road.
Okay, right here at Reed Road.
Is this where it's going to happen? Are they going to...
Yeah, he's right there on his side. He's ready to do something.
Oh, there we go. We had
an
accident there.
There, he's going to try it now.
This is an opportunity right here. This is an opportunity right here. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Oh, he's going to
I think the person's hands are out of the car.
Yeah, they are.
There they are. We've come to the conclusion here on Reed Road at the Exxon station at 288. We're trying to move her around here so we can get away from that telephone pole. I don't want to get in too close. All the officers have their guns drawn. They have no clue what to expect here.
Right.
Typically what will happen is they'll order that driver out of the car, and the driver will face away from them and back up toward them and then lay down on the ground. That's the typical way to arrest somebody like this. But you can see officers are all lined up here. Let's just hope that they don't put it in drive and take off.
Let's see what happens and who we have, whether there is a male behind that wheel or possibly even a passenger or a female. We've seen it all in all of these chases we've covered, but there are a line of DPS right there with her guns drawn, giving and shouting orders at this point. He did, once he hit that car, he put his hands up in the air and said, well, you know what, maybe I ought to give this up. Let's see what happens, because we've seen them stop and then go.
And you know, the officers don't have any clue whether or not this person has a gun or there's other people in the car with them.
Right.
This is all a big unknown at this point.
And involving Houston and Bel Air and
there is a person that, as you can see at the top of your screen, that's being escorted toward the police car.
Started a couple
I did not
minutes
see
ago.
anybody get out of it.
This chase started a couple
They're on the sidewalk up there. I don't want to get in too close, Art, because we just don't know what's going to happen here.
Sure. I mean, that's
and now
we
got
have to
on
be careful
I-10
here,
freeway.
at least
And now
word
this
to the
chase
audience, and sometimes we've been in close, and then there are shots fired. The door is open now. He does appear as though he is
in Maine,
getting out. Again, we're looking at the vehicle on the
at
left-hand
105
side in the front.
got on I-610 freeway.
It appears that he might be getting out. You see at least
and
a
this
dozen
chase has been
officers
going
all
on
around,
15
and
minutes
others
now.
running toward that vehicle as
And
well.
he is on I-610
in
North Loop.
position with guns
And
drawn.
again, this chase has been going on for the last
The DPS
10
taking
or
the lead on
15
this, at
minutes
least
or
with their
so,
vehicle.
as they
and
just
in the air.
mentioned, and they
Don't know,
just pick
Don,
up,
whether they are taking the
they
lead
just
in the
picked
air with
off-
the DPS chopper. We just saw it fly
picked
by
it.
because the HPD might be grounded because of the helicopter crash recently. We don't know if that's the case, but certainly something to consider.
Yeah, I have not heard that, Art. Usually if
They just
DPS wants help, then
picked it
they
up.
certainly have no problem calling HPD
Yellowstone off of
helicopter in on this, and I don't see any
off.
as I glance around it right now. That doesn't mean that they're not here or nearby,
US
but
288, and again, this
it's,
chase
right
has
now
been
it's
going on for
DPS and
about,
us.
Okay,
going
so
on for
somebody
about
is out of the vehicle.
15, 20 minutes
Fortunately, this thing has come to an end.
or so
Hopefully,
since the police started
just
his
hope it
chase.
doesn't get back in the
They
vehicle and start going. And the reason I say that is because we've seen that happen
Since
before.
the police started this chase,
there
and
must
they
be
just
several
passed the
orders
Gulf
being
Gate
given
Mall and the
back
Gulf Gate
forth.
Freeway,
Let's
I-45
see what happens
Freeway
as
North
we
Loop, and this
continue
chase has
to
been going on
watch this
for the
play
past
out.
I do
20
see
minutes
movement
or
outside
so
of the driver's
during
door.
the
There they are,
hour
standing
traffic
up.
Yeah.
since the
Standing
chase
up at this
started.
point.
Time now, 1:35
legs
p.m.
are spread,
This
and
chase
he
now
appears to be
underway,
leaning
and
up against
been going on
vehicle.
for about 25 minutes or so.
And he's walking
And
or
this
he's
chase got
possibly
underway at
walking
about
backward
30
at this point.
at about
Well, we're hoping that he's taking direction
30
and doing
minutes
exactly
ago,
what the officers are telling him to do.
and now they are approaching 35 minutes into the
And for
pursuit.
the audience, we just have to be very careful. That was DPS that flew by, right?
And
yeah, that
got
looked like
back onto
DPS.
Yes, that's
610
correct.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
North
we're here at Reed
North
Road,
Loop
just to the
earlier
west
on,
of 288,
and he
not
went
even a
on
block
to
away from
the grassy
288.
median
And
and got back onto
the
I-610
situation, to
North
say the least, is
Loop,
tense.
and he hit
Yeah,
one
because
of
he's
those
not laid
cones,
down yet.
and the right passenger
I mean, I
side
don't know
mirror
whether they're
flew
giving
off.
him orders to
They
lay
saw
down,
him,
but
and
generally
they saw
they
him
will
go
lay down
fly
pretty quickly.
off that
It appears
right
as though
side
he's maybe
mirror,
taking
and
just
they're
a
going to be
couple of
coming
steps
up onto
backwards, but
US
I've
288
only
here
seen one
shortly,
person so
and
far.
trying to get away
I
from
have not
officers,
seen another.
making a
And
U-turn, and imagine
he's slowly
they're
walking
minding their
back.
own,
It appears as though there is
they're
only
minding
one
their
person in that
business
vehicle. Is that
when
correct?
they're coming back
Don't
from
know.
the
There could be
restaurant
other
and
people
from the
that just
store.
ordered him to step out of the
And
vehicle.
this
That's
chase has been
typically
going
the
on for
case.
about 40
We try
minutes
to only deal with
or
one
so,
at a time in these
and the
instances.
DPS
Now he's
helicopters
walking
and
backwards
just
toward them.
cruisers are
Now
trying
they're
to
going to command him to get on his
set up
knees and then on his
spike strips
stomach,
and
face
pit
down.
maneuver,
There they go.
and
They're
going
moving in
fast,
now.
high
On the
rate of
knees.
speed, and now he
Okay, the
headed
guns are
on to
continued to be pointed at the
US
vehicle.
288. South
seeing
Loop.
if there is perhaps another one in
And
there.
they've been chasing
This
that
man is under arrest.
black Lexus for the past 45 minutes or so, and now
Okay, there's the
exiting
man
off
under arrest. You can
at
see him
288
up against the DPS
off at
vehicle.
Reed Road, and now he led
And the dog
police
went
on a
inside the
50-minute chase, and
suspect's
for 50
vehicle,
minutes
and
the chase had ended.
it appears as though
55 minutes later,
the vehicle
it
is
had
cleared,
ended.
that there's no one else in the vehicle. If
So
there were,
anyway,
the
with
dog would
words,
still be in there, and
he is
officers
under
would
the
be,
he is
all
under
over it, but,
the suspect,
doesn't appear
that
to
male
be
suspect.
anyone
He
else
is
in the vehicle, just
under
him.
arrest,
There's the arrest being made
and now
by
arrested,
state troopers.
and now the
And it looks like undercover
arrest
police officers.
being
are
made,
undercover.
and now
We
he's
don't want
in
to get in too
custody.
close because we don't want to
And now
reveal their
that is the
identity.
vehicle that the
There's
police were
trooper.
chasing for about 15, 20 minutes
Yeah,
or
he's going
so
back, and
since the
DPS
chase started.
taking the full
This
lead
chase
on
started
this
at
because,
about
DPS has
1:05
taken
and
him
been
into
going on for the
custody.
past 15, 20 minutes.
He's going to go
For
into
the
the
past
back of that
15,
DPS
20
unit,
minutes or so
perhaps.
since the chase started. It
I
began
noticed
at
that
1:05
DPS officers
p.m.
stepped
this
back and letting the undercover
afternoon
officers
and 6:10
take the arrest.
in Maine,
You know,
and
that-
picked it off at 288 in
generally when that
Yellowstone.
happens, when undercover is involved, that
And
means they've been
well,
following this man,
they've been
perhaps.
following this man for
They
hours
had
since the chase
surveillance
started.
on this man.
As well,
We're not sure of the situation.
we're not sure
we're
of
only
that
going off,
situation.
a history of experience
It
here,
has been
but
going on
you can clearly see
for hours. Been going on for the past
DPS
20 to
undercover
25 minutes or so. Been going on for the past 15, 20
as they
minutes.
continue
For the past
to pat
15,
this man
20
down.
minutes or so
All right, quite a
since
chase
the chase
this has
started.
been, as you have watched at home.
And as well
no
as
doubt,
you
we
watch
have
it at
traversed
home
the
on my
city, mostly
on
the
my
south side,
on my new
gone back and forth on the South
YouTube
Loop
channel.
at least
Head on
5
to
times.
Albert Baldwin,
He's very familiar with that area.
2007.
Gone up to the north as well,
So
over to the south.
check out all these
the
videos
southeast and the eastbound
popped
loop
up
as
here.
well, making his way around the city. But now it is brought to a close. It appears as though there is one suspect. The chase is now
you can
over.
go
We're gonna
on
have,
to
of
that.
course, much more coverage if you can continue to watch here on abc13.com. As well, we will have full coverage of the chase and all the events surrounding it, and as to why this man was running on abc13.com and at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Eyewitness News. We will see you then. Have a good day, everyone. Now back to regular programming.
News from ABC 13. For more information, head to abc13.com or open our ABC.
Okay, anyways, thanks for watching. Check out this video, pops up here. And I'll see you guys in the next video later on tonight. Bye, guys.